I've toured rentals where the math made my jaw drop. Great view, decent kitchen, and rent that swallows half the tenant's paycheck. It's not a fluke, it's a pattern. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Today, we're exposing 10 states where rents are outpacing incomes, and the usual advice: move to the suburbs, try the next state, no longer works. We'll group them by pressure zones and show how the squeeze moved beyond big cities into whole regions. If you want the full story behind why 1 in 4 renters are severely burdened, this countdown connects the dots. Number 1, Florida. You land in Florida for beaches and no state income tax. Then your lease eats 36% of your paycheck on average, and that's before fees. Here's the twist. Florida leads the nation in severe rent burden. About 30.1% of renters pay over half their income just to keep a roof. Demand exploded. Supply didn't. Rents jumped nearly 40% since 2019 while service-heavy paychecks lagged. A CS/Visual Capitalist data backs the burden ranking, and USA Facts pegs rent to income near 36.2%. Add construction bottlenecks, sky-high insurance, and HOA or condo assessments that landlords pass through. You try the Orlando or Tampa suburbs. The spreadsheet smiles, the lease laughs. Every new exit already priced in, plus amenity fees, parking, and rising car insurance. It's like playing whack-a-mole with your budget. Number 2, Nevada. The billboard says low cost of living. The lease in Nevada says, nice try. Let that sink in. Tourism snapped back, tables filled, conventions returned, and remote workers rolled in with out-of-state salaries. But here's the catch: housing didn't keep pace. Nevada clocks a severe rent burden around 28.0%. That's renters paying over half their income. It looks affordable online, then vanishes when you sign. Las Vegas and Reno have a vacancy wobble. Valleys hem in growth and crews to build fast. Thin. With limited sites and labor, rents jumped while hospitality pay crawled. A CS and Visual Capitalist rankings back the squeeze. City snapshots show rent rising faster than local wages. Use Scout Henderson or North Las Vegas to save. Then parking, community fees, and longer drives torch the discount. The spreadsheet says win. The monthly says wash. It's the Sunbelt trap in dry heat. The West isn't done squeezing. California turns the dial. Number 3, California. Big paycheck energy, bigger rent gravity. California pulls your budget like a black hole, and you feel it fast. The headline stat hits first. About 27.5% of renter households here are severely rent burdened. That's not just LA or SF. Inland Empire rents chased coastal demand, while wages didn't sprint. A CS rankings and USA Facts ratios back the squeeze. And the list of least affordable rental markets packs California cities like Merced and Santa Maria alongside the headliners. A D-US are legal, SB 9 unlocked lot splits. But here's the catch. Permits, financing, and build timelines drag while the deficit yawns. So you move inland. The rent-to-income ratio barely budges, and your commute budget explodes. Gas, tolls, car wear. Now, it's a rent plus transport tax. It's like paying surge pricing every month just to exist. The coastal elite pressure zone starts here. If California is the engine, New York is the other piston. Number 4, New York. You think it's a Manhattan tax. Then Queens laughs. Then Buffalo quietly posts a rent you can't ignore. The burden doesn't sleep. Here's the catch. New York ranks near the top for severe rent burden. About 26.9% of renter households spend over half their income on rent, per ACS/Visual Capitalist. USA Facts-style ratios echo the squeeze. Post-2020, demand slid back toward dense cores, while upstate absorbed spillover from people hunting relief. Even smaller cities saw spikes because any vacancy got pounced on. Near the subway? at a premium. Farther out? You pay with time and fares. It's like choosing between a higher rent today or a slow drip from your MetroCard and tolls tomorrow. The outer borough squeeze keeps creeping to the exurbs, and wages aren't matching the climb. Number 5, Connecticut. You trade sirens for a cul-de-sac and a latte walk. Then the lease hits harder than your property tax panic. Let that sink in. Here's the catch. Connecticut ranks among the worst for severe rent burden. About 26.2% of renter households spending over half their income, per ACS-style rankings. Remote work juiced demand, while decades of limited multifamily zoning around commuter towns kept supply locked. Underbuilding lingers, so vacancies stay thin and asking rents stay bold. Fairfield County charges a commuter premium, close to the train, close to the pain. Hartford and New Haven feel the knock-on. More bidders, fewer units, higher rent to income. Nationwide, rents outran wages. That gap shows up here too. So the small-town switch? Cute on a postcard, ruthless in your budget. Coastal elite zone energy, suburban charm with big city math. Now isolate the pain. Hawaii rewrites the word expensive. Number 6, Hawaii. The views are free. The rent charges late fees on your soul. Hawaii makes beauty feel like a subscription with an auto-renew. But here's the catch. The island's cap supply. Tourism and second home demand push rents past local paychecks, especially in service jobs. About 25.9% of renters are severely burdened. Half their income gone, per ACS/visual capitalist positioning. In Kahului, affordability isn't a rumor. It's a wall. Short-term rentals skim long-term units, so vacancies vanish and asking prices stretch. Logistics add a tax you never see on the bill. Shipping materials inflates construction costs, so every build starts expensive and stays expensive. Timelines drag, which keeps the squeeze tight. Think you'll hop islands for relief? You swap one premium for another. Different scenery, same math. Isolated outlier status confirmed. The ocean's closer than affordability, and that gap won't close itself. Back to the mainland's Pacific edge. Oregon's squeeze hits differently. Number 7, Oregon. You hear livability, trails, coffee nirvana. Your lease here's add $300. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. Oregon sits 7th for severe rent burden, with 25.0% of renter households spending half their income on rent, per ACS rankings. In-migration stays strong, while tight land use rules choke new supply. Even with renter protections and a rent cap, scarcity keeps prices sticky. Policy wins exist, but permits, financing, and construction timelines delay relief, so the rent-to-income math barely moves. Portland's pressure spills into nearby suburbs, and college towns like Eugene or Corvallis run thin vacancy, so listings vanish fast. Snap reliance, 18.1%, signals household strain layered on top of housing costs. Number 8, Rhode Island. You expect little state, little rent. Then Providence hands you big city math and a smirk. But here's the catch. Rhode Island ranks 8th for severe rent burden, with about 24.8% of renters spending over half their income. The Providence Metro runs hot. Tight inventory, old triple-deckers, and that coastal premium you feel the second you open an apartment listing. A recent snapshot even showed virtually zero rentals listed for under $1,000 in Providence, which tells you where the floor is. Small scale magnifies every bump. A few hundred new arrivals, a semester turnover, summer beach demand, echoes statewide. Suburban relief? Thin? Warwick, Cranston, Pawtucket? Close enough to feel the pressure, not far enough to undercut it. The rent-to-income ratio doesn't flinch. Number 9, New Jersey. You move to Jersey to save from NYC. Then the lease adds $150 for parking, $120 for transit, and a rent that looks suspiciously similar. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. About 24.8% of renter households are severely burdened. Property taxes get baked into rent. Underbuilding near path and NJ transit keeps inventory tight, so transit-accessible units command top dollar. A CS Rankings and USA Facts context say the rent-to-income ratio pushes past the comfort zone, especially along rail corridors. You drift inland for relief, say, off the main lines. The spillover follows. Rents climb in towns you once ignored, while your commute time and fares erase any deal. It's like swapping a pricey latte for drip coffee that costs the same after fees. Number 10, Louisiana. Rents aren't the highest here. The share of your paycheck still feels brutal. Let that sink in. But here's the catch. Wage growth lags while costs climb. Landlords juggle rising insurance and flood risk, so operating costs roll into rent. Older buildings need work, and new multifamily projects are limited, so vacancies stay thin. Energy sector swings add income whiplash. It's a slow squeeze. The stat that matters. About 24.8% of renter households are severely burdened, per ACS-style rankings. Median renter incomes trail, while rents, utilities, and fees inch up. In New Orleans and Baton Rouge, a rent that looks modest on paper still eats a scary slice of take-home pay. USA Facts-style ratios show how lower incomes turn average rent into a problem. So even modest rent becomes severe when paychecks stall. Here's the thing. Isolated outlier status. Proof this burden isn't only a high rent problem. It's a wage problem. Here's the thing. This isn't a city problem anymore. It's a system problem. Population growth, thin supply, and rent-to-income ratios stuck in the red. Like this video so the algorithm thinks I'm important. Subscribe because someday you'll want to escape. Would you trade sunshine for a 50% rent-to-income? Drop a yes or nope? Location used to be choice. Now it's arithmetic. You're not ready for what your next lease will say.